Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're doing well on this July 17th, 2020. Today, Mom at Home, we're back on Fridays. I am back to my home studio here. The museum we're kicking off our renovation right now. I was just there this morning, and it is changing right now. We're just prepping for the big changes to happen in September, so we're getting ready for that. We're gearing up. We're still closed to the public, and we won't be open until February 2nd, 2021. It sounds like a long way away, but it is not. It's kind of right around the corner. If you want to learn more about the renovation, please visit our website, museumofmakingmusic.org/renovation. Learn about it. If you want to support it and help, there's a ability to donate and contribute to that cause. We'll definitely make that experience wonderful. Today, oh my goodness, we are super excited to be hosting Ronnie Baker Brooks on today's Mom at Home. And Ronnie has been at the museum. He performed there just this past year, sold out house. And Ronnie is steeped in the Chicago blues guitar, and just it is his life. It is his sound. He just exudes that Chicago blues. That essence is all about Ronnie Baker Brooks. Today, Mr. Bill is with us yet again because he does such a wonderful job exploring the lives of the artists that we are so fortunate to have here on Mom at Home. So I want to thank you guys in advance for being here, Ronnie and Mr. Bill. Take it away.
Okay. BJ, always such a great introduction. And Ronnie, again, thank you for taking your time out to be with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You know, after your concert some months ago, I worked the concert and was having as much fun as the audience. It's hard to call it work when guys like you come out and play the museum. We're just in there digging the sounds. So when I approached Jillian and said, "What do you think? Do you suppose we can get Ronnie on Mom at Home?" She got right in touch with you, and you were very gracious enough to say yes right off the bat.
Yeah,
Ronnie, absolutely. We're going to go back a little bit to your father, blues legend Lonnie Brooks. And I've enjoyed several of the YouTube videos that are out there of you, of your father, of the two of you playing together. So I'm going to start this out by asking you a question. With that sort of a legend as a role model and a father, would you say, Ronnie, is pretty much destiny that you would carry the torch and continue the blues guitar tradition?
If not, it's very close. It's not very close because that's all I've been around all my life. That's all I've been exposed to. Being around Dad, I learned from the best of the best, and being around his friends. And it was something about it that just absorbed me, that I gravitated to. And I feel like I was destined to do it.
So pretty much, no doubt from the get-go, this is me, this is who I am, this is where I'm going.
Yeah. And then also giving back to the people that I was exposed to because of Dad, his friends and being around them, rubbing shoulders and picking their brains, and learning from them on how they do it night in and night out. And then take the music away, how they just be regular human beings, and deal with this kind of lifestyle, So, yeah.
Absolutely. So kind of a behind the music thing you were getting right alongside
the
play.
Yeah.
So was it guitar right off the bat for you, or were there any other instruments that you sort of got interested in first or along the way?
It was guitar first.
Right on.
It was guitar first, and then I kind of got a little frustrated, to be honest with you, because Lonnie Brooks is my dad, and I'm looking at him playing, and I'm like, I can't do that. So I picked up the bass for a little bit, the bass guitar, and then I got back into the guitar, and it was just a thing. I couldn't really absorb that this is my dad, This is the same guy that I was just on the floor playing checkers or wrestling with or playing around with. And then I see him playing in front of thousands of people. I can't do that, Dad. Yes, you can, son. Yes, you can. So I picked up the bass for a little bit. And then that kind of got me back into the music because I had quit for a while to play basketball. to be a normal kid, I guess, or like my friends that was around the neighborhood. They all were into sports. Not too many of them was into music at all, especially if they were into music. They were not into blues at all. So when I was exposed to the blues or trying to play it, I was around much older people, like my dad's friends, you know, and my friends was outside playing baseball or basketball or whatever. So I went through that kind of period just to fit in. And then when I got back into music, going on the road with Dad again, I picked up the bass, and then it just brought me home to the guitar.
Right awesome. On. Let me kind of follow that train of thought, Ronnie, because as I was reading through your bio, I'm seeing these names going, really? This person, that person? I mean, there are a lot of people, grown adults like myself, who, you know, they throw down some pretty serious dough so they can go play these rock and roll fantasy camps with their heroes. And I'm reading in your bio, it says you were on the stage playing alongside Johnny Winter, Jimmy Reed, Eric Clapton, B.B. King. I mean, when Lonnie, when your father put you up on stage with players of this caliber, did you have any idea how huge they were, or were they just Dad's friends?
Well, let's back up. First of all, unfortunately, I never got the chance to play with Jimmy Reed. That's a typo for some reason. But my dad was in Jimmy Reed's band. Matter of fact, my dad is playing on classic hit Big Boss Man. He's playing rhythm with Jimmy Reed. I never played with Jimmy Reed, but all the others you name, I either was on the show with them or played with them. And before I got to that point on stage or around them, I was around people like Koko Taylor, Hubert Sumlin, Sun Seals, Luther Allison. And then when I started going out on the road with Dad, I got to see Johnny Winter and, of course, B.B. King and those people. But when I was younger and they were coming over, like Hubert would come over to the house, or Koko Taylor would come over to the house, or we'd go over to her house, we'd go to Buddy Guy's house. I didn't know who they were. I just thought they were like a family member almost, you know. And when I got out there on the road and I saw them, I was like, whoa, this is different. This is different. So that's how that went down.
Kind of like the way you saw the two sides of your dad, right? You saw your dad playing in front of hundreds, thousands of people, and then you saw your dad in the living room playing checkers or chess or whatever. Two different worlds. Exactly. It was like it was family oriented, man. Even you know, when I got on the road with Dad, even like when we be at the hotel room, it was more like a family thing. We still at home, but we were on the road. And he told me that. He's like, man, until you came out here, I felt real lonesome. You know, because the only time I got to see you guys is when I was at home. And at that time, Dad was never at home. In the summer, he was gone, man, all the time, you know. And sometimes even in the winter, he'd go to Europe, you know. And so when I got on the road with him, it made it more like a home vibe, you know. So, yeah. For both of you, you were getting that taste of home there. Dad was missing it when he was on the road, and you were missing Dad when he was on the road, yeah?
And then you go to a show with B.B. King and you see all these people and you see Dad and B.B. up there. He's like, oh my God. Yeah, man. I've been blessed, Bill, you know, and that's why I used to think of this as a obligation at first to keep the blues alive and to, because of, you know, my background and who my dad was and it exposed me to the blues fantasy camp. I used to think of it as an obligation. And then I was talking to a friend of mine here in Chicago from WXRT Radio, Tom Marker. He said, no, Ronnie, that's an honor. And it kind of, when he told me that, it kind of took the pressure off. Yes, it is an honor, you know, because I've been around these greats and I'm able to do what they did. You know, or at least, you know, follow their lead with that. And I feel honored, man.
That's a great sort of juxtaposition that you just shared with us there. Obligation or honor. And you're absolutely right. If you feel obliged to do something, there's not quite so much the heart and soul in it. You're going out and fulfilling an obligation. But if you are honored to be on stage doing it, it's all coming from the heart and soul.
Well, you know, I kind of put that pressure on myself because I didn't want anyone, when I got in my dad's band, I didn't want anyone to say he got that gig because of his dad. You know, I didn't want that. Are you there?
Oh, we're here. Yeah, we can still hear you, Ronnie.
Yeah, I didn't want anyone to say he got that gig because of his dad or his dad just gave him the gig. I wanted to earn it. Mm-hmm. So I put that pressure on myself to be the hardest working member in the band, to, carry my own weight, basically, just to carry my own weight and more. So I took on a lot of responsibilities in the band. I took on a lot of things, put pressure on myself. And one particular night in Santa Monica, used to be on Pico over there, and Albert Collins came to the show. I'm up there playing with Dad, man. I'm, like I said, put that pressure on myself, trying to make everything perfect. And I'm messing up. I'm frowning. And Albert Collins pulled me to the side and said, "Come here, man, come here." He said, "Man, I watched the show, man. You make mistakes. You're killing your own vibe." Okay. He said, "Man, I make mistakes every night, but I smile to make people think I meant to do it."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when he said that to me, man, it gave me another lens to look out of. Like, wow, right, I'm killing my own vibe. And I noticed whenever people like that come around, like Albert Collins or BB or Johnny Winter, Stevie Ray Vaughan, man, the music elevated. So what they brought to that is that vibe. So if you steady frowning or thinking bad about it, you killing the vibe. Mm. And so that helped me tremendously with the pressure of being Lonnie Brooks' son. Wait a minute, man. Let's just ride this wave. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah, and boy, what a great sort of mentorship right there off the cuff with him taking you aside and telling you that. And it's so true, because when you, as you say, you're killing the vibe with your expressions, your grimaces, that translates to the audience, and they feel it too.
It does. And it was a crucial time in my growth too, because I was still young guitar player coming up. And it was crucial. I heard all these things from my dad, but when you hear it from someone other than your dad, it kind of confirms it, like a double confirmation.
Absolutely. And I hate to cut in, but and I noticed too, I mean, that's a lesson that some musicians never get to learn. I mean, there's a level, I mean, I think there's an epiphany that you reach. It's like, oh, okay, now I get it. And some of us never get to that point, never learn that lesson.
It's true. I've been blessed.
And I think we all tend to look at our heroes as being infallible, right? They never make mistakes. So for you having Albert come to you and say, "Hey, man, I make mistakes all the time," that kind of leveled the playing field for you, didn't it?
Yeah, man. And that changed my life, to be honest, Bill. I mean, I love Albert Collins, man. I love my dad, man. And when you hear this coming from them, it's just, like I said, give you a confirmation, man. And it kind of took the pressure off me and gave me a deeper work ethic. Just work hard, keep working harder, so you can ride the wave. You can create the wave, you know what I mean? And not get in your own way,
You are the wave, right?
That's right. That's
right. You were talking about not wanting people to think that you got the gig because of your father, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a sort of reverse way, I think that was good for you, in the sense that it really did push you to have a stronger work ethic rather than just ride in on Dad's coattails. I think that was a real beneficial thing for you. Would you agree?
I agree. And that started with Dad. He taught me and my brother Wayne Baker Brooks that at the beginning. I don't want you guys to be, of course, you're always going to be my sons. You're always going to be that. But I want them to know you as who you are. So you take all of this that is available to you. And we watched how he did it. So that gave us a template, and then being out there with the other greats, how they do it. So you start putting, pieces together to make your own, you know, it started with Dad. He taught me, man, how to be a man first. You're a man first, and then a musician, and everything that comes with that.
Right. And it has served you well. Watching you play, both live at the museum, watching your videos. In fact, I was watching a live version of Golddigger just the other day, man. You know, I could have sat and watched. Again, here I am working, right? But I could have watched those videos all day long. I did watch several of them, as a matter of fact. And as I was hearing you sing, I grew up with a lot of Cream, a lot of Clapton, and I heard a lot of his phrasing in your vocals. And as you were just saying a minute ago, we do absorb bits and pieces from really everybody that we hear, everybody we learn from. So maybe you could break down a little bit what you learned from B.B. King, from Buddy Guy, from Koko Taylor, and of course from your dad. I know you've addressed your dad a bit, but kind of go one at a time, if you would.
Well, yeah. Well, with Dad, you know, back to what I just said, he taught me the work ethic. He exposed it to me. He gave me a resource, you know, the resources that, like, he would always say, learn whatever you want from me, but you got to make it yourself. Take what you like, I do, or whomever, and make it you, you know, because you never be me. And I heard all of this, you know, I'm like, yeah, okay, Dad, but and I'm trying to learn his stuff note for note, right? And so he taught me the work ethic and then being a professional. And then being around him, I got to see B.B. King. B.B. King, what I got from B.B., I always say B.B. was the king of charm, not only the king of blues, but he was the king of charm. He could charm a snake. And I seen him do things like that, man, where we was on tour back in 1993 with B.B. It was B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Eric Johnson, Koko Taylor, Junior Wells, and my dad. And I was in the band with my dad, playing behind my dad, Junior Wells, and Koko. And I would watch B.B. King every night. And he would always pull a rabbit out of his hat, man. He always, and how he handled the crowd, how he handled the musicians, how he handled the promoters, everyone, the sound engineers. He was just so charming and just pure. And just his professionalism and his smoothness. He was so smooth when he played, man. It was just, it was like when he channeled in, it was just so smooth, man, and just sweet. That's what I got from B.B. Albert King, he was wicked to me. He was just wicked, just raw. Just raw blues, man. And I don't know anybody that's playing the blues today or even before I was out here that hadn't played a B.B. King or Albert King, like, you know, some kind of way. And it was just raw soul and blues. Buddy Guy, I learned his showmanship, how dynamics, you know, Buddy Guy has great dynamics where he can be here and then break it down to a whisper and kept everyone's attention. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. And Buddy is a master of that, man. I've seen him do that night in and night out. Albert Collins, another showman, very aggressive style of playing to me. It was my description of Albert Collins is like two cats fighting in the back of his amp. So that's what I got from Albert. Luther Allison, man. Luther Allison, he had stamina, man. Oh my God. It was like a movement with Luther. He would start at 9 o'clock and would stop to 1:30. No breaks, and kept you on the edge of your seat. And all of these guys were masters. Koko Taylor was more of a mother-like figure to me out there on the road. She would always be encouraging and embracing me, man, like a mother, you know. You guys got to keep this blues alive. She kind of inspired me to write that song, you know, her and her first husband, Pops Taylor, because I was much younger. It's up to you guys. You learn from your daddy, just because he's one of the best out there. And you guys got to keep the blues alive. So she gave me that nourishment. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan, was huge in my career for me. He had a lot of passion. I admired his passion. And another one that when he channeled it was like Jimmy Vaughn had a great description of Stevie Ray. He says, Jimmy said that when it's like tuning in a radio station. Back in the day, you go down to the end of the dial and you find this station, you can hardly hear it, a little static, and then finally you find the right place on the dial, and it's there. That's how Stevie was. When he lined up, and it just like went right from him to the audience. A lot of passion, and those are the greats, man. That I try to take, like I said earlier, a little bit from, and make my own gumbo.
Yeah.
Three of your descriptives that you use there: fire, passion, and stamina. I would absolutely apply directly to what I saw in your show at the museum. In fact, you did at one point that thing where it's just the most exciting thing to take an audience on that ride, isn't it? And
yes. At
one point, you had everybody here because you were just digging in and burning hard, and then you just dropped the bottom out of it and came way down.
Well, my grandmother, she told me this when I was a kid. She used to whisper to me, "Ronnie, come here." And I would immediately run like, wait. Now I got your attention. I told you to take that trash out. It's the same thing with music, man. If I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion how I'll do it, because everybody got their own philosophy, whatever. But, I try to do that where I don't just keep it here, bring it down where I can get your attention again and then take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so even grandma had some influence on what you do, right?
Yeah.
Her whispering, okay, now I got you here. Here's what I want. Ronnie, we have a couple of questions if I can send these your way.
Sure.
One of our volunteers, Brian, he's always got some great questions for us. If you could give us your opinion of the difference between several blues types: Chicago, Delta, New York City, LA, and so forth.
Flavor is each city has a different flavor. I guess that's the term I could use, or approach to the music. It's all blues based. Probably a lot of it is the same chord progressions. It's just the way it's played, and like Chicago was a land of opportunity for a lot of the people that migrated from the South. So it had this energy to it, this vibe of energy and a better opportunity, exciting energy, whereas back in Mississippi or Louisiana or whatever, it was more of a Delta style or a laid back style, acoustic. And when Muddy Waters came to Chicago, along with Jimmy Rogers and all of them, they brought that from Mississippi, but with another energy here in Chicago. Whereas you go to the West Coast, it's probably a little more laid back, a laid back style of blues, with the drum beat, the shuffles. You go down to Texas, it's a little bit different, It's hard to explain. It's just, I can hear it. I can hear an artist and tell you where they're from, almost. Like people older than me. Now the young ones I can't, because everybody's coming with different stuff now. But like the older ones from my dad's generation, I can almost hear and say where they was from.
Huh. Interesting. And then Brian's other question. We've talked obviously a lot about other guitarists that have influenced you, but he asks if there are other instruments that you personally listen to that influence you: saxophone, horn, keyboards.
Yeah, I do. Horn instruments, organ. I learned that from Albert Collins. He told me too. You can get different phrasings from different instruments and apply it to guitar. Because he said he listened to a lot of sax players, and that's how he got his phrasing, and his style. Because he would, listen to it. He learned from T-Bone Walker, and Gatemouth Brown. He loved Gatemouth Brown. Everybody, my dad, all of them loved Gatemouth and T-Bone. All of them, they were like the godfathers, I guess, T-Bone Walker. And then they brought their own style to it. But listening to different instruments, for me, I do listen to horns, organs. I love the drums. You know, I listen to the drums because the drums give you the beat, and then that you always react to. For me, I always react to what I hear. You know, I react, and it makes me play something or inspire me to play something. And a lot of times the drums do that to me too.
You just made BJ's day by saying I love the drums. He's a drummer.
I'm a drummer. I'm a drummer, Ronnie. So thanks for the love. I appreciate that.
Hey man, I've been lucky to be around some great drummers. Steve Jordan produced my last record, Times Have Changed. And prior to that, Jelly Bean Johnson, who was the drummer for Moore's Day at the time, he produced my first 3 records. And I just, something about the drummers I just connect with, man. Even with Aerosmith, I had a chance to set in with them, and me and their drummer connected immediately on stage, man. So I always connect with the drummers.
Awesome.
It is awesome. It's just that whole, the word you just used is perfect. We use that in the museum all the time, the connection between musicians and their instruments. And yeah, when you're on stage grooving with whomever the band is, your regular band sitting in with Aerosmith, when you feel that connection, there's just nothing like it. And I love watching like a great band like yours if they get into a trading fours situation where maybe the drummer will play something in his or her 4 measures, and then you come back with a riff that's based around the rhythm they just played.
Communicating. You communicate, man. You're talking to each other, you know, through the music, and you probably don't realize it, but you're creating a vibe. You're creating something, you know. And now the people are like, whoa. And now for me, with that, it starts with the band, and it goes out to the audience, and what the audience gives you back, that inspires you to play something else. And it's all
this beautiful symbiosis between all the musicians.
It's close to church, getting the holy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody feeling an amen inside at the same time.
Right.
Ronnie, I'm seeing some pretty cool looking guitars behind you there. Would you maybe care to share a couple of your go-to blues riffs, or maybe a little bit of a tune, something to let us see how it happens?
Okay. All right. I got a woman wants to follow me everywhere I go. I got a woman wants to follow me everywhere I go. She said, take me with you running. Take me with you where you go. Well, I'm going to the corner tavern. Hang out with the fellas. We're gonna have a couple of drinks just to get our heads smell up. She said, take me with you. Take me with you where you go. Can't stand to see you leaving, honey. Please don't you tell me no. Well, I'm going to the racetrack. I'm gonna bet on me a winner. I promise to you, darling, I'll be home just before dinner. She said, take me with you. Take me with you where you go. Can't stand to see you leave me, honey. Please don't you tell me no. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Woo! I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
All the things we were just talking about showed up right there. The vibe, the attitude, the approach. You know, it's so cool, Ronnie. We're having this back and forth conversation, you, me, BJ, and then you start playing, and it's a different world all of a sudden, man. It's so cool.
And I have to tell you this though. One of our guests in the audience here, Mike V, says, "Please come back and play Neighborhood Theater in Charlotte." He had front row tickets. And it got canceled. So he wants you to come back and play that gig.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come back to all of the gigs that got postponed or canceled due to the COVID crisis we in now.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to come back, man. Because I actually had a tour with Koko Taylor.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing an Albert Collins tribute tour. And we had 2 gigs. We did 2 gigs and they shut us down. And we hoping to get back and do that, finish that out.
Yep. We've got our timeline too. We're ready to get back, and so all in good time. And the fans will be there, and the music's going to be there too. So we're looking forward to that time. All right, Bill. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take it from you. Go ahead. I'll let you guys continue your journey here.
Jay, you take it anytime you want. And as you were playing the song, Ronnie, it reminded me that we have several links that you provided us as well. So the gentleman who just asked about the concert in Charlotte, and anybody else watching, we're all going through this together. It's going to be an exciting, wonderful time when we can get back to normal. But for now, you're providing concerts and so forth. Would you like to address those so everybody knows where to find you?
Yeah, every Friday since the COVID crisis hit and it enabled us to go out and tour, I've been right here. I call it the Brooks Blues basement. There's a lot of great memories here, man, of me playing with my dad, writing songs, rehearsing with the band. We got a little pool table over here. My dad would shoot pool over here all night with the great Jimmy Johnson. And I would sit back and watch them. I would play the blues over the speakers and they would tell stories. So I call it the Brooks Blues basement. And every Friday night, I do a show at 8 p.m. Central Time. Just to keep connecting with the audience out there and then give them and myself some relief, man, because there's so much going on in the world now. And I feel good when I do that. I feel good when I play, and it makes me feel better. So every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time on my Facebook page here from the Brooks Blues Basement.
Awesome.
Perfect. And there's some other links to your website and a few other links that you provided us. So again, anybody watching, BJ is going to add those to your Mom at Home link on our website so people can find you there. I mean, it's wonderful. I think to me, it's the next best thing to be in there,
Yeah. It's not like, being in concert and you can actually, see people and, back in the day, you could touch people, but I tell you what, when I first did it, man, from a Facebook page, because at first I was contemplating like, no, I shouldn't do that. And my wife was like, maybe you should, because I was around here, man, just so depressed or just down, But when I did it, man, it just lifted me up, and people start commenting, and we start connecting. You're right. It's not like a live concert, but it does help. It does help.
It does. Yeah, and the music is the tool, man. And if you're a player, if you're a listener, it's a tool that we use on both ends, on both sides of it. We play to express ourselves, to be able to get through whatever we got going on. That's our tool that we have. And man, you have a great tool. Geez, I mean, what you're able to do with that guitar and the blues, and where you've taken the tradition and where it is, what you've become with it, and it's just amazing. Can I ask a quick question, Mr. Bill? Can I throw in? All right. So now, I mean, you're in your career right now where you've developed your style. where do you kind of see like what our generation? I think we're on the same level here. But what the new generation is also bringing to the table? Where's the traditional blues? Where do you feel like that's going right now?
It's limitless, man. The younger generation got so many more resources, like YouTube and the internet. The internet is a game changer. It just changed the whole game. So now they can dig in and find stuff that I did 20 years ago, find stuff my dad did 50 years ago. You know what I mean? And so there's so many resources. Of course, we had records and cassettes, and I got some of the VHS tapes, back in the day, and that helped me tremendously too. Because I remember Stevie Ray Vaughan gave my dad that cassette VHS of him and Albert King before it came out. The In Sessions video that's out with Albert King and then Stevie, and he gave that to my dad before it came out back in the 80s, man. And I remember watching that, and I would stop it to catch the finger, whatever he did, so that helped me. So today, the kids, they got a lot more resources, man, and they learning so fast, so fast, and the platform is bigger now with the internet. You can do a video, and it can go to the world. Whereas back in the day, I played in a club, and the people there saw it. That's it.
Yeah, I remember I was lucky enough if PBS was airing a festival or anything, and we had the tape in the VCR recorder. That was lucky. That was lucky for us, and it's like catch it because I can't go there. I mean, I was stuck where I was, and it was now you're all over the world in 2 seconds. You can go and watch a concert. Here we are in the West Coast, and we're catching up with the Midwest right now and seeing what's going on. So yeah, I totally see that. I totally see that.
And like I said, they coming up so good now, man. At an early age, I had the chance. I was in Denmark doing a festival over there, and the promoter asked me about letting this kid sit in with me, 12-year-old kid. His name Toby Lee. I was like, sure, man. Can he play? Yeah. I had heard the name, but I wasn't sure about him. Like, yeah, he can play. I said, well, bring him to the dressing room. We talked. Great kid, man. Great kid. Him and his dad, his mom, they all came to the dressing room. I was like, man, let's play some blues. That kid got up there at 12 years old, man, and was amazing. Awesome. It's like, awesome. Whoa. And I couldn't believe how good he was and how advanced with his plan. It was a little maturity there for a 12-year-old. I mean, and the first thing I said is like, wow, man, on the mic, I said, wow, this kid is great. Just imagine how he would be after he get his first heartache. And someone captured the video with a phone or whatever and posted it, and it went viral. And next thing you know, I saw 117 million views.
Wow.
That's the difference. That's the difference now.
It is. Going back to the idea that they have so many more resources. Think about it. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I took guitar lessons from so-and-so, the same person every week, couple of weeks or whatever. And I had some wonderful teachers. Now, because of the internet, you can go around the world to find teachers, not only in the genre maybe that speaks to your heart and soul, but any genre of music, and absorb all of that. And they do. They just absorb it, and it comes right back out of them.
Man, a quick story if we got time.
Sure, yeah.
I was on tour with Dad out in LA at the Guitar Institute of Technology. We did a gig there. And I was walking around the school, because at the time I was young, I was much younger. And I was considering going, enrolling. And I'm walking around the school, they're giving us the tour. And I'm like, man, it was, in the computers and stuff back then, the tablets, everything. It was so advanced, That was the beginning of the advancement, I believe. It just wasn't as popular as it is now. And man, I'm walking through that school like, wow, they got this, they got that. Whoa, okay. Man, I'd like to come. What do I need to do? It's like, and they all looked at me like, what do you mean? I'll trade you. You can have my spot, and I'll take your spot with Lonnie Brooks. And that really put it in perspective for me, man. But it was intimidating because we did the show, and they all sitting out in front of the audience with their guitars like this, you know. And every lick you hit, they hit me. All of that. I was like, whoa, man. And my dad said, hold it, stop. There's nothing I can't play that you can't play. I'm here to entertain you guys. Let's have some fun. And when he said that, man, it just took all that away. And everybody's like, yeah, let's have some fun. He created the vibe again. So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's the difference. Like today, you got that in a phone or a computer. You can catch anything you want.
At any time. You can be sitting on an airplane looking at riffs, getting them in your head.
Right.
And there's that expression again, creating the vibe. And your dad turned that right around, created the vibe. We're here to have fun. This isn't really a learning. It is. We're always learning, but turn it into a let's have fun. Let's enjoy the music.
Right.
Very sweet. We got another question here. As a matter of fact, it touches on something I was going to ask you about. Tone for electric guitar specifically became the holy grail, to my recollection, say back in the 80s, all these boutique amps and boutique stomp boxes and whatnot. When I heard you play your show at our museum, it sounded like there was quite a bit of really nice kind of creamy overdrive in your tone. Is a lot of that pedals? Is amp? Is it a combination of both? What would you say?
It's all of that. All of that helps. But it starts with this, the fingers. And my old man would tell me that. He said, man, your finger is your own. You have your own fingerprint. It's like you got to create your own sound where you can get your own, like you have your own fingerprint. Because everybody got their own different fingerprint. that's yours. And but what you put the guitar through, amp wise and pedal wise, and what projects out, that helps that tone too. That helps you. And I always try to chase the tone I have in my head, and that changes all the time because it depends on the room, or it depends on what song you're playing, or how you feel at the moment. It was times where I would go set in, and my guy, my roadie, my tech would tell me, man, I would set in and go straight into the amp. You should play like that more, man. But I found out he didn't want to carry my pedal boards. But it was a magical thing because of the moment you playing with someone, or you get a vibe, or you get a feeling, and you play. Like I said, I play to what I hear, not just to what I hear. It creates whatever I hear. I try to create what I hear. I hear it back out from what I'm hearing from the band, or who I'm playing with on stage. But the pedals, the amps, all of that helps create that for me, depending on the song or the atmosphere you're in, the setting you're in.
And I think your initial statement, starting from the fingers, is the most important.
Very important, man. That's where it starts and that's where it ends. B.B. King never used the pedal, to my knowledge, never. But he had that, you know what I mean? Yeah. A little tremble. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he could say more with 3 notes. You can say plenty with 1 or 2 notes.
Man, I had the pleasure to be down in Memphis for his birthday party. They had to do a birthday party for B.B. King. All of these stars are there. I'm standing next to Kev Moe, Buddy Guy, Willie Nelson, Michael McDonald, Buddy Guy. We all on the side watching BB. Now, prior to that, I was hanging out with Slash from Guns N' Roses. He's like, man, I'm going to play with BB, man. You think he'll let me play with him? I'm like, sure. We went up to talk to BB. Like, sure, Slash, come on up. King of Charm. Come on up, man. I would love to have you play with me, man. Come on. So they did The Thrill Is Gone. So Slash, as we know, is a great guitar player, like phenomenal guitar player, right? Mm-hmm. Slash goes up there, man. He's so excited to play with BB. He's playing, man. It's like, whoa, okay, what BB gonna do? Man, BB looked at him. Thank you, son. He set it up, man, and he hit this one note, and it just rang. And I swear to you, it was like a red light came down over BB, and he just hit that note, and that note went out, and it shook the whole building, man. And everybody on the side is like, what is happening? What is going on here? He took everything he felt, been through, and knew, and put it in that one note, and it all came out. And Slash just stopped bowing down like, amen, amen. One note.
That's like
Wow.
going to church.
Wow.
That's a master to me.
Absolutely. I can't add anything to that because that's exactly right.
Yeah.
How a master does it. So let me get back around to Brian's question here.
Okay.
He says, blues can only be played with a tube amp. What is your weapon of choice? Now,
We
you can
noticed,
address
we
that.
saw right away, you don't have to have a tube amp to play the blues. Yeah.
That's right. which is why I kind of, I tiptoed into that one. What's your feeling on that?
It's preference, man. Whatever you feel in your heart and you hearing inside your head to make that project out. That's your personal preference. I've used like just acoustic guitar and got the same feeling sometimes. I've used tube amps and got the feeling. Of course, if you're playing to a bigger audience and you're trying to create depending on the type of show you want to do, yeah, the tube amps help. I've used solid state and got great tones. But like I said, Bill, it starts here.
Yeah.
That's right. I think it's very easy to get lost in all the technical stuff. I got to have this amp. I got to have this pedal. But if you don't have it, here.
I go back to sports. I always, like I said, I played sports. And Deion Sanders said, hey, whatever, if you look good, you feel good, you play good. So whatever makes you feel good and look good and get that feeling, you play good.
Yeah. Awesome.
So we've been talking about music, which, I could do 24/7 till the end of my days. But there's another side of the whole music world, which you have to be very familiar with. And of course, that's having a good business sense. In terms of the business world, what is your advice for staying on top of that part of the game?
Well, what you just said, business. You take care of business first. It is show business, but you got to take care of the business before you do the show. And that goes from making sure your gear's on point, making sure you prepared, making sure your band is taken care of, and just taking care of business. And especially now is you got to take care of business. Like when I was younger, I go party and hang out all night after the gig, man. And now I'm a little older. I'm not old yet, but I'm a little older. I got to be ready for the next gig. So I go to the hotel room and chill out, man. Rest up and get ready for the next gig. So I try to have that approach to that.
Very good. Yeah, kind of keeping your head on straight and keeping your eyes on the prize rather than on the party.
It boils down to, we do this for a living. You know what I mean? You gotta have money to enable you to do the next gig. You know what I mean? So you got to take care of the business if you want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and a point you've touched on a few times in our conversation, I just want to reiterate that. Talking about BB, how he treated everybody so well. I mean, that's a hugely important part of the business also, yes? I mean, your side players, you're going to treat them like gold, yes?
Professionalism, man. Yeah, that projects on the stage as well. The great Johnny Clyde Copeland told me, hey, man, you take care of the hands that take care of you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if they're feeling like they're underappreciated, certainly underpaid, and just out there doing a job because it's maybe the only gig they could get, they're not going to, I mean, the passion then is not there. they're just playing to, make a few
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah, you got to, and that's part of the vibe, back to that word. You got everybody that want to be there and they feeling good about being there, that projects on the stage and projects to the audience. And so me coming from playing with my dad, he always made it a family environment with all of the fellas. And he was probably harder on me than anybody because I was his son and he was like, hey, I can fire them, but I can't fire my son. So if you mess up, man, you're going to make me look bad.
Oh. Wow.
But eventually my dad did fire me, but he fired me to make me go out on my own and start my solo career because he knew it was time and I didn't want to leave. But yeah, you got to take care of the guys that take care of you, man. And that's my philosophy. Now you got some other people that do it different, but it always comes back to the music. It always comes back to the music, and whatever you can do and you feel good about to help elevate that music, then you got to take care of that to me.
And it shows. Again, going back to your performance at the museum, I'm watching your keyboard player. He's one of the happiest musicians I've ever seen. And you as well, and the rest of the band. Everybody was just happy to be there and just feeling the vibe together.
And a shout out to my band, man. We haven't worked since March. Daryl Coots, who you just mentioned, on keyboards. Maurice Jones on drums, and Philip Castleberry on the bass, and my man Scooter, who takes us all around the country, and my nephew Vaughn. We teamwork makes the dream work, and I really appreciate them. I wish I could do more for them right now because everybody's not working, man. We all at home, and but hopefully when this passes over, we can get back down here in the basement and start get some new songs together and get back out there and bring another energy to the people.
Right on. Well, make sure your road manager knows to put Southern California on the map. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we want you back at the museum as soon as we can get you. Man, this has been great, Ronnie. I do want to ask one more sort of thought or question from you. You mentioned the young 12-year-old player who came up on stage and he was just burning. He was great. I also saw a video where you had Quinn Sullivan playing with you guys. The younger players, you're mentoring them. And at the museum, we call that playing it forward.
Right.
What kind of feeling do you, Ronnie, personally get when you're generously sharing that knowledge and your chops and the stage and you're encouraging these players? How does that feel to you?
It makes me feel great. I'm just giving back what was given to me. I've had the pleasure to share the stage with some of the greats that did that for me. And if I can be that, what they were to me, to someone that's, up and coming, man, I feel like I'm a part of the blues chain. I made a link. I connected a link, I feel good about that because, first of all, it excites me to see someone younger want to play the blues, because that reminds me of myself. I can see myself, and if they open to receive whatever, I want to give or have to offer, it just doubles the pleasure for me. I'm so excited to see young guys coming up like Quinn, Toby Lee, Kingfish, John Tavius Willis. We got, of course, Gary Clark Jr. He's rocking it right now, man. He's killing it. Joe Bonamassa. They all killing it right now, and they carrying that torch.
That's awesome. I like that analogy about the chain, the link in the chain. And you are, sorry, this is going to sound like a bad pun, but you are very instrumental in passing that torch along for them to carry.
Well, if I can do that, man, I look at the greats before me and how they inspired me and gave me a life that I'm living today, inspired me to do what I'm doing, and enabled me to have this life and this platform. And if someone is interested in that and want to get that from me or want to pick my brain, man, it just reminds me of myself because I used to do that to B.B. King. I would sit there with B.B. all night and talk about whatever he wanted to talk about, I try to talk about music. Most of the time, he talk about women. But Buddy Guy, I just called Buddy Guy a couple of weeks ago, picking his brain. Like, hey man, how you dealing with this? How you do this, man? After all these years, and now we stop. What's going on? So all of that, it gives me fuel. It gives me something. And so if I can give that back to someone that wants that, man, it's double the pleasure.
Amen to that. And I'm just going to add that your passion for playing and singing the blues, it has no doubt inspired our listeners too to up their game while they sit down and practice. So Ronnie, thank you so much for being here. BJ, I'm going to let you take us out.
Awesome. Man, I tell you what, guys, I appreciate this conversation. It was great. I loved the stories. I love learning about your life, Ronnie, and I love to see how that it's being paid forward. We're playing it forward to the next generation, taking what we knew, keeping it, making it our own, and then passing it along to the next one, because that's how we keep it going. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much today for joining us from Mom at Home. Next week we have Shauna Tucker, cellist, lyrical songwriter, singer. She's amazing. And our very own Jillian Harrington is going to be interviewing Shauna for that. She is so much fun. And so I think it'll be Jillian's first foray on Mom at Home. So join us for that. And then the week after that, I believe we have Allison Brown. We have a guest interviewer for that, which is San Diego Union Tribune's own George Varga, music writer for that. And then the following week, first week in August, will be the Deering family. Jamie, the CEO of Deering Banjo, Janet and Greg Deering, founders of Deering Banjo. So we actually have 2 weeks in a row of banjos. Hope you can find some time to hang out with us then. But next week, definitely come back and catch Shauna Tucker. She's got a remarkable musical style. It's called Chamber Soul. And she's been to the museum before, and we're going to learn all about her life, her work, and everything there. So until then, everyone take care. We'll see you next week at Mom at Home, and have a great day.